Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Positive Pods on the Positive Radio Network. This is episode 34, and I'm Jim Egan. And with this podcast, we believe that starting every day in a positive way is a major step forward in living a purposeful and positive life. And to do that, we follow 4 daily steps, and you'll hear me talk about them on nearly every episode. But those daily steps are gratitude, attitude, courage, and commitment. And last episode was episode 33, and we talked about gratitude at length. And so I want to spend a little bit of time on attitude today. And as I will, positive attitude, you have to have it every day, and to gain it, you get it from gratitude. Filling your heart and your soul with gratitude each and every morning and throughout the day. And there is no better time than to have a positive attitude than today, because as I look out and it's freezing cold, it's mounds of snow here in the Midwest, and we're just about a week away from spring training and my beloved White Sox kicking off a new season. So that brings positive hope for me that spring is on its way, and we're in summer baseball is just around the corner. So with that, let's talk about the Daily 4, and let's focus specifically on attitude. And to do that, I want to talk about a couple of quotes to set us up. So here, the first quote is from the Dalai Lama, and it says, "In order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision." So Dalai Lama is saying, in order to carry a positive action, we have to have a positive vision. What is he saying? So if we're going to live a positive life, we have to have a positive mindset. So that, I just love that quote, because the Dalai Lama is spot on. Everything that we start with is around gratitude that fills our heart and souls with thankfulness, with blessings, and that generates positive energy within us and around us, and it creates this positive mental mindset that the author Norman Vincent Peale talked about in his book, and it's a renowned book from the 1930s even, and everyone you hear about talks about it. In other words, from a positive quote, another one is Buddha. And Buddha says, "Let us rise up and be thankful. For if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So let us all be thankful." Now, it's a bit of an interesting quote in around positivity, because Buddha is talking about things that we didn't have or we got sick, but at the end of the day, what he's saying is be thankful that we are alive, thankful that we have another day ahead of us to live, to truly live. And he talks about learning. And you hear us here at Positive Pods talk about laughing every day, heartily laughing and learning and loving and giving. And so I really love this quote as well, because Buddha is talking about being thankful, and that generates positive energy in us, as you've heard me say. Also, Dr. Wayne Dwyer, I need to quote him because I love his work. I love him. He's an amazing man. He left the world too soon, but left us with so many blessings and so much wisdom. Here's a quote that he said. He said, "When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Let that sink in. When you change the way you look at things, when you look at things from a positive mindset, when you have a positive outlook, the things you look at change, from obstacles or challenges to opportunities. I've modified Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote a little just for my personal use, and I'll share that with you now. And the way I like to think of it is, the more you change the way you look at life, the more your life changes. And so it's looking at things as opportunities. You're looking at life as learning experiences. So it's very much in the spirit of Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote. But I look at it holistically, because when I lost my father at a very early age, I realized that life isn't promised to everyone. tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. So live fully today and earn today by laughing and learning and loving and giving of yourself to others. To look at today through a positive lens as opportunities. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So the more you change the way you look at life, the more your life changes. And the last quote here is from Lee Iacocca. You might remember he was the former CEO of the General Motors, I believe. And what it was General Motors, I think. So correct me if I'm wrong then. But he says the thing that lies at the foundation of positive change, the way he sees it, the thing that lies at the foundation of positive change is service to a fellow human being. So being of service. And this goes back to the thought process around laughing, learning, loving, and giving, being in service of others. So when you have a positive and purposeful life, it's because you're giving service to others. So what is the difference between having a positive mindset and a negative mindset? Being grateful in heart, that generates that positive attitude. Well, think about it in the context of on the left side of a piece of paper and on the right side of a piece of paper. On the left, you have positivity. You have positive energy, positive mindset. And on the right, you have negative energy, negative mindset. Looking at the glass as half empty. On the positive side, looking at the glass as half full. What would you list underneath positive? What are some of the words that you would list underneath positive that gives you a positive mindset? And I'm going to compare and contrast here. So positive, you would have faith. Under negative, fear. Faith over fear. And let your faith be stronger than your fear. Let you be more positive than negative. Under positive, I would have belief. Under negative, there would be doubt. True belief overcomes any doubt. If you truly believe in yourself, if you have the sense of positive outcome will happen, this is going to happen for me. Maybe not in not in the time I want, and maybe not in the way that I want. Which brings us back to faith that it's going to turn out. It's going to work out. So belief over doubt. Positive, another word is trust in the future is going to be positive. Trust versus worry. How much time do we spend worrying about tomorrow, worrying about the next step, and not really letting go and trusting it's going to be okay, allowing us to live in the present grateful moment? So faith, believe, and trust on the positive side. Negative, fear, doubt, and worry. Continuing on, positive is about opportunity, looking at life as opportunities to laugh and to learn, to love and to give and to grow. On the negative side, it's not opportunities, it's obstacles. Obstacles that overcome, and it's wearing you down. I have to hit another obstacle and another obstacle. And it can be very, very disappointing. But the reality is, if it's positive, you look at it as an opportunity. I have another opportunity to learn. Edison said he didn't really quite discover the light bulb, but he discovered, 10,000 ways not to invent it. Michael Jordan missed more shots than he made, but that's all learning and growing. He looked at it as another opportunity to take the winning shot, and he had it. He always had it, and he ended up taking those winning shots, and he made them. So think about this in the context of opportunity. Learning. The last one I have here for positive is learning versus negative of failure. And I think it's really important to talk about this, is we don't fail. We never fail until we stop trying. Because failure is just another way, another opportunity to learn what we're doing. Learn how to grow. Learn how to do it better. That's what it's about. Like when you first learn to walk, when you first learn to ride a bike, when you first learn to dribble a basketball, or to play a sport or play an instrument. Nobody was perfect. We would have failed over and over again. Every day we were practicing. But the reality is we weren't failing, we were learning. And that's what life's about. It's about learning. And in that process, we're learning and we're growing. So I want to say one more thing, and this is about positive mindset. You can't just have a positive mindset. You don't wake up and now you have it. It's just like learning to ride a bike. It's just like learning to swim. It's just like learning an instrument or learning to play a sport. You have to practice every day. And gratitude is the way you practice. Build with gratitude in your heart. And every day, this is what I believe, wholeheartedly I believe in this, is we have a choice. Every second of every minute of every day, we have a choice we can make to see life as an opportunity, right? To learn, to laugh, to love, and to give love and give ourselves to others in the service of others, as Lee Iacocca says. To see life as a gift, as a blessing. To know, to truly believe, deep down, to believe, to know in our hearts that things will always work out for the better. If we don't give up, if we never give up, because if we don't give up, we're only learning and growing, we're not failing. The only time we fail is when we give up. So never give up. Always believe in yourself. Always have faith. Faith that it will work out. Faith that if you're religious, faith that God has your back. Right? I want to tell a quick story about when I was 10 years old and I went to a basketball camp in Lake Forest, Illinois. It was the same place. It was over the summer, and we were with the Northwestern University's basketball camp, and the head coach at the time was Rich Falk, and he had his whole basketball coaching staff there, and there was about 200 students, and it was packed. It was a week-long camp, and I was excited to go. I love basketball. My Uncle Jack, John Egan, as he's known, played basketball for Loyola University, and they won the national championship back in 1963. And so basketball was something we grew up with as a big Irish family in the south side of Chicago. We would bounce the ball in the back alley, and we play 1-on-1 and 2-on-2, and as many as could get in the backyard or the back alley, we'd play. And we'd play against Uncle Jack and Uncle Bob and Uncle Brian, and it was a hoot. All of our cousins. It was a lot of fun. So I was excited to go to this camp and learn to be better so that I can go back and kick some butt with my family. So I go to this camp, and I realize there's not 199 kids out of the 200 that I think are better than me at this game. And I was going through the game, and I'm giving it everything I got each day. And I was starting to feel a little bit dejected, I have to admit. As much as I loved the game, as much as I was enthusiastic, I was starting to feel worn out that, these guys can dribble better, pass better, shoot better, guard better. But I'm trying. I'm giving everything I got. I just realized maybe I've got some limitations here. I don't know. Well, as I said, Lake Forest College was also the site for the Bears training camp, the Chicago Bears training camp for that season. And it was 1977, and they were at the training camp. I think it was 77, and the Bears had their cafeteria. The college's cafeteria was divided with this big kind of partitional wall, that folding wall, and the Bears ate their lunch and breakfast on that side of the wall, and the kids ate lunch and breakfast on this side of the wall. But in between the folding partitions, as the accordions, there was little bits of gaps, and I would kind of hover through and peek through the gaps to see if I could see any of the players there. And my goal was to see Walter Payton. My goal was to meet and see Walter Payton while I was there. And so every day I looked after lunch. I ate lunch fast, and I stood around hoping to see him come out of the lunchroom and head toward his practice field or the dorm or wherever he was going. And it wasn't until the very second to last day where we finished up lunch, and I was dejected. I have to say, like I said, I was kind of down in the dumps a bit, and I got one more day left, and I was really hoping to win an award. I thought I was going to come home with the trophy and be all proud for my mom and show my cousins, my uncles, and it wasn't looking so good. So I walked out. At this point, I wasn't really looking for Walter, but I walked out of the cafeteria and into the back parking lot and started walking toward the dorms. And at the same time, Walter Payton, walked out on his side, and he was walking through the back parking lot. And it was just the two of us. The irony was that there was no other kids coming out at that time and no other Bears players coming out at the time. It was just the two of us. And I couldn't believe it. I was blown away that I'm standing right next to Walter Payton. And I asked him, I said, Mr. Payton, would you mind if I walked with you for a little while? Wherever you're going, I don't care. I'll just walk with you. And he said, sure. He smiles, and with that Walter Payton smile, he says, sure. And we walk together, and I was asking him, how did you get so good at football? Because I want to be so good at this game of basketball too, and I'm struggling a little bit. And what's the secret? That kind of thing. And he smiles, and he walks with me, and we had a great conversation. But we got to his car. He was driving this new Corvette, right? And he was going to his car, and I was like, wow, that's a really nice car. But he says to me, he says, listen, Jim, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here, right? And he says, believe in yourself. I can tell you have a lot of enthusiasm. You got a lot of passion. So believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and never give up. Always give more. Don't give up. Give more. If you believe in yourself and you give more than others, you're going to get better. You're going to get the best that you can be. Okay? You're going to reach the heights that you can reach. And wherever that is, whether that's winning a trophy or not, you've already won. You've won. And take pride in that, because you've given everything you got. You've gotten to the pinnacle of your abilities. You've never given up, and you've always believed in yourself. And I think about that statement that he gave me, and he gave me that piece of advice. And I remember how he would run up the hill, the famous hill that he would work. He would work harder than anyone else. And he believed so much in his own abilities and his own hard work that he became the NFL's greatest running back. And he's my greatest athlete. I'm his biggest fan, and I admire how he lived. I admired how he worked, and I'll never forget him for that moment. And to wrap up the story, the next day we only had a half a day of basketball camp left, and there was a little bit of light drills or what have you. And then he pulled us all together, and we sat around the center court. All 200 people, kids sitting around the center court, and the coaches are in the middle, and they're giving out awards for best dribbler, best defender, best shooter, and best overall MVP. And these awards are just being named, and people are clapping, and the kids are winning. And I'm clapping with him. I'm happy because I realized yesterday that Walter Payton was right, that I've already won. I've won because I gave it everything I got, and I was enthusiastic. I didn't lose my positive energy and positive mindset. I was a little dejected, but I didn't let that show. I just kept on going. And even Friday morning, I came in with a smile on my face, and knowing that I probably wasn't going to get a trophy, and that was okay with me. And when the last name was mentioned, the last award was given out. It was Mr. MVP, and this young kid got it, and guaranteed he deserved it. He was far better than anyone. I'm sure he's playing in the NFL. I mean the NBA at some point, because he was phenomenal. But and I was still happy. I'm sitting in my in Indian style, and I'm sitting there, and I'm smiling. And then the coaches say, well, 1 second before we wrap up and send you guys home, we want to announce one other thing. We came together as a coaches last night, and we agreed unanimously that we're going to start the first of an inaugural new award that we're adding to this basketball camp from this point forward every year on. And that award is going to Mr. Enthusiasm. And they call my name. They said the first winner of this award ever at the Rich Falk basketball camp was Jim Egan. Mr. Enthusiasm, because he never gave up. He always smiled. He always worked hard. He epitomized what it means to love the game and to love what you do, and to stay positive no matter what. And they called my name, and I the kids were roaring and clapping, and I was outside of myself, if you will. And I'm holding up the T-shirt that says Mr. Enthusiasm Rich Falk basketball camp, and as I hold it up and I turn to look at the kids, right past them towards the back of the basketball court, the back door, I see a figure standing there, and it's Walter Payton. Nobody notices him. He's just leaning up against the doorway, and our eyes meet, and he gives me one of these heart pumps, and he points to me, and he smiles like Walter Payton smiles. I'm getting a little teary thinking about it, and he smiles, and I smile back, and he walked away, and it stayed with me ever since. So positive energy, positive attitude gets you a lot in life. It may not get you a trophy, but it gets you far more. So to wrap up, I know this one's a bit of a long one, but I hope you enjoyed it. To wrap up, let me just summarize a bit about the 4. Gratitude, if we start with gratitude in our heart and spirit, if it lets it flow through us, if it helps us develop a positive attitude. And positive attitude brings positive energy, as you know, and it helps build up in us strong, unwavering faith that we can do things. We have this confidence that comes with this, and with confidence comes great courage. So that's the 3rd of the 4. It gives us courage to step out and to pursue our dreams and to try to do our best and to become our best, as Walter Payton encouraged us. And all of this gives us the inner strength to commit, to stay committed, which is the 4th, to be resilient in our efforts, to continue to drive on and never give up. So gratitude, attitude, courage, and commitment. It's about always learning and always growing. It's about becoming our very best, and always living the day to the fullest, because that's what it is. Today is a day to live. It's a day that's blessed. It's another day in our life, in what I hope is a wonderful life. So as we move forward to next episode, which is really around courage, I want to leave you with this is a verse that I love, and you will know. I think you'll know if you're familiar with the Bible, in the sense of it's Psalms 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And if you're not religious, and you don't necessarily understand what that means to you in your heart, if you're not, you've got a bit of skepticism or whatever, maybe that doesn't resonate with you. What I will say to you is this. My quote for this is, my version of this is, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. I have faith that things will work out because God is right beside me and he's looking out for me. He's got my back. Walter Payton was looking out for me. People are looking out for us. Everyone is looking out for you. You should not be afraid, because you are being looked after, and you're being loved, and you're being encouraged. And I love you, and I'm encouraging you. You're not alone. So go out, be grateful about your life, build positive energy within your spirit and your soul and your heart. Have courage to go and do something today toward your dreams, and live this life by giving love and to others. Be of service to others. So laugh heartedly, learn something which allows you to grow. Love this life that we live, and this day that we have is a blessing, and give love to others. If you do that, that is one heck of a day. That's a full day, and it's a blessed day, and one of many that creates a wonderful life. And last but not least, if I can implore you, if you're interested in giving, there's an organization that's near and dear to my heart, and it's called the Nicholas Rischel Foundation. And I've got a link. I'll put a link on the podcast here, and it's about a team of folks led by Kelly Rischel Bailey, whose son Nick lost his life to cancer, and his last dying wish to his mom was to help bring moments of joy and make wishes come true for some of those young adults that are too old for Make-A-Wish, and they just didn't get a chance to get a wish, but they're fighting for their lives. So this organization, and I'm proud to be a part of it, is we bring joy to the young adults who are fighting cancer. And yesterday we brought joy to Miguel. He's fighting cancer. He's in the battle of his life, but he has a dream to be an auto mechanic, and he wants to learn how to do that. And so we set him up with all the tools he'll need to pursue that dream. And that's what we did. We brought joy to him that day. We gave him that gift. Yesterday it was on the news, and that's not important. What's important is the smile that was on his face and the joy that we brought him for that moment, that he can now put some energy and some of his passion to work and bringing joy to his heart every day through his passion of learning auto mechanics with these tools. So all I ask is you to go to this website and just look at it. Read the stories of these young adults. And if you feel moved, and if you're expressing love in your heart for them, and you want to give to them anything you can give, your time, $1, it doesn't matter what you give. It's just showing that you love and you're giving love, and that brings positive energy back into your life. So thank you very much. This has been a long podcast, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Please share your feedback to me about whether you like this or not. And next week we'll continue on this journey of not being afraid, for He is with us, not being afraid because we have courage. So episode 35 will be about courage. So I look forward to talking to you. Have a wonderful week. Have a blessed day. Stay positive and take care. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.